welcome back to another episode of reviewing the greatest albums of the 70s and the 1980s. I'm John, I'm from Rock My Bean, and we're on the album Rumours by Fleetwood Mac, and we are now finishing the album. We've got 2 more songs to go, and that's it, and that covers the entire album. Please go back to watch the other episodes if you want to hear the rest. We've got, I believe, 5 more on top of this one, so we have a total of 6 episodes for the entire album. And we are finishing up the Rumours album. Came out by Fleetwood Mac in 1977. One of the top, it's in the top, I think, top 5 or top 10 albums of the 1970s. And for good reason. It's just a musical masterpiece. There's no clunkers. There's no bad songs. There may be a kind of weakish one, in my personal opinion. It's subjective, totally subjective. But all the songs are good. The whole album is good. It's just a great, great showing by the band Fleetwood Mac. Now, we've had an album, as I said before, was written during a time of conflict and emotional conflict and divisiveness and breakups, etc., between band members before this album was made and while this album was being made. And I believe it contributed to the excellent songwriting. One thing about Fleetwood Mac is not only is their instrumentation great and their singing great, but their lyric writing is really good. You know, there's a lot of bands out there that are good at writing songs, but their lyrics are sophomoric or corny, and just not that great, even though they may try. Well, Fleetwood Mac just writes great lyrics. So I can't think of anything that they do bad, and this album just demonstrates that. And now we've had songs that have been kind of uplifting and light and bouncy and innocent sounding, others that were a little more serious. We've had one that was rather dour and foreboding and dark. And then it popped back up to more joyful songs, more introspective songs, but still light and relatively easy to access if you're in a good mood. Then we had the last one, which was a little more serious and lighter and just Oh Daddy. And it's not my personal favorite on the album. But now we're gonna move to the next song. The next song is a Stevie Nicks song. It's her completely singing here, but a lot of very good guitar work by Lindsey Buckingham. This song has a true swampiness feel to it. That's what I'd call it. A sort of swampiness feel. It's that guitar that Lindsey's playing, that hollow body guitar that he plays, that he picks on. And it really gives us that sort of dark, foreboding, swampy feeling, for lack of a better word. And he's done that before, and now he's doing it again in this song. And it's a great song. It's not uplifting. It's just kind of it's very moody, a very moody song. And the next song after that, and the last one on the album, is a mellow song, a love song, with Christy McVie playing piano and singing. So she gets another shot after You Make Lovin' Fun. This is her second solo song on the album, and it's the last one on the album. And it's just a very nice love song, and the song ends on that note. It's very interesting that this album was written at a time of complex relationship problems, and it ends on a positive note. It ends on a love song, and that's very good. I'm glad they did it that way, instead of ending on a dark note. So let's get into listening to these last 2 songs. We're going to start with the song. It is called Gold Dust Woman, and it is sung by Stevie Nicks, and she does a terrific job. Listen to her vocalization, her tone, range, the emotion she puts into it, and then Lindsey playing that guitar, and Mick Fleetwood's playing a very reserved drum part. He's tapping on a cowbell or wood block here, and he's hitting a hi-hat. He's not doing a lot of drums, hitting on a tom. He's just really in the background here. But it keeps the beat going, the tempo going. It serves the song, because that's what Mick Fleetwood's very good at. And it just kind of moves this swampy, dark song along to its conclusion. Let's go. Let's listen to Gold Dust Woman.
Well, did she make you cry, make you break down, shatter your illusions of love? And is it over now? Do you know how? Pick up the pieces and go home. Rock on, ancient queen. Follow those who bear in your shadow.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right here. I'm also an artist as well as a musician. And I understand that space makes art better, usually. And space, as an artist and a musician, I understand space. And Fleetwood Mac does too. Now that little area where they kind of ended there, they were ending that phrase, you heard the guitar even back off, the drums kind of back off, the singing back off, and it felt like it was just kind of empty, an empty place that you're in. You're in this empty place, and you're not sure what's coming next now. Is it going to start filling up with sound? Is it going to continue in this empty place with a little bit of guitar, a little bit of singing, a little bit of drums? But it began to feel like there's all this empty space. You're in an empty room alone. It's claustrophobic as well as too open. You know what I'm saying? The emptiness becomes claustrophobic, and you can kind of feel that oppression of the space. And the person singing this obviously is feeling a massive sense of loss and emptiness, and not sure where to go. What's next? And there's surrounded by this silence and this space, and that's exactly what this song gets across, in my view. The lyrics, the music, all contribute to this feeling that you get. You can imagine kind of sailing through a dark swamp, very slow on the boat, and you're going somewhere, but you're not going fast, and you feel alone, and you feel in an unwelcome, hostile place. It isn't necessarily going to attack you, but the lack of human companionship, the lack of knowing, the lack of feeling, it's almost like you're numb. And that's kind of what this song, the feeling this song gives to me. And of course, her vocals are just terrific here. You're going to hear even better. It's still coming. And of course, Lindsey Buckingham's guitar work is just top shelf. You just can't beat it. It's perfect. And Mick Fleetwood's drumming is just so minimal. It's perfect. It carries the beat without being in your face. And he's really good at doing that. Okay, let's continue.
Rulers make bad lovers. You better put your kingdom up for sale. Up for sale. Well, did she make you cry? Make you break down? Shatter your illusions of love? Well, is it over now? Do you know how? Pick up the pieces and go home. Well, did she make you cry? Make you break down? Shatter your illusions of love? And now tell me, is it over now? Do you know how to pick up the pieces and go home?
Okay, pause it here. Imagine you get the news that your significant other wants to say bye, we're done. That moment when life is just sucked out of you, okay? It's just sucked out of you. and you're in a vacuum. You don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to feel. It's like, what just happened? My whole world just went whoosh, got sucked out into a vacuum. That's the feeling you get here. And now the song turns to the end of the song and it changes. And now you're getting the war drums. Bump, 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 bump. It's keeping that swampy sound, and that's continuing. But now there's a hostility feeling building by the war drums. Dun, 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 that Mick Fleetwood is putting in there. That's the impression I get. And listen to her lyrics. My shadow, the shadow of a woman is going to haunt you. My shadow is not going to leave you. You are going to be haunted by my shadow. And I hope so. I mean, this is a sort of the hostile feel. The surprise is over. And now it's time for the hostile feelings. Okay, that's what I'm getting, and that's how the song ends. It rolls into it. Let's listen. Wow. That was a dark place. That was a very dark place that song went to. You heard the howling in the background and the war drums and the emotions in her voice, and the guitar playing just started getting a little more wicked, a little more unpleasant. It began like they were descending into hell feeling. I mean, that's the feeling I get from this. And whereas, there's only 2 songs on this album that really go to a dark place. The Chain, which is not quite as dark as this. This is even darker than The Chain. This is the darkest song on the album. And they did a terrific job getting that feeling across. I mean, you can feel the emotion. And it isn't just, let's make it sound ominous. They really knew how to make it sound ominous. It's a very, very dark place this song goes to. Okay, now we got the next song. The last song on the album, called Songbird. We're going now to a completely different feeling. Totally different. We're going to a place where love song is, and feelings that aren't dark and ominous. And it's just a true, heartfelt love song to somebody, sung by Christy McVie and her piano. Let's do it. Wow. That's just a beautiful, beautiful love song. Absolutely beautiful. And it's, you just feel it. It's so honest and heartfelt. And it's just a contrast to what we just heard. But truly beautiful love song. And Christy McVie's voice is just the perfect vehicle for that sentiment. Stevie has got a great voice for what we just heard earlier. She can get that feeling across really well. But Christy has this sweet, innocent voice that's got. It's my favorite voice in the whole group, and she just does it so well. It's just a great love song. Very simple, piano, a little bit of guitar behind it, and that's it. And that's how the album ends. And that is the end of the album Rumors. We have reached the end after 6 episodes and some wonderful music, excellent music, timeless music that will be enjoyed by generations because it was that good. And as long as we keep it alive, and that's what I'm doing here, keeping this music alive. I'm not at all a fan of today's music. I'm a musician, and I think most of it is absolute trash. And I'm not saying that to make anybody angry. I just know music, and what I'm hearing today ain't it. Now, there's a lot of stuff out there that's, out in the ether and perhaps not out in front, not in the mainstream. That's good. But unfortunately, the mainstream music industry has taken a nosedive into the pit, and there is nothing really worth listening to today. It's garbage. Now, there has been good music in the last 20 years, but not much. This here is absolute genius and brilliance. And unfortunately, it's not around today, and I wish it was, but at least we have this. And it's still there, and we can all listen to it and appreciate it. Every generation can appreciate it. I want younger people to listen to this stuff and realize what they're missing, what they don't have. Learn the lessons of these musicians. These were great musicians. And you know what? They're still out there. They're still playing. They're getting in their 70s. They're getting older. But they just did a tour not too long ago that, granted, they didn't have Lindsey Buckingham with them because they disagreed about the tour, and they fired him, which was, I think, an incredibly stupid idea since he's one of the main ingredients it makes this band great. But they went ahead and did it anyway. I'm sure the management was all for it, and the executives and the band. Okay, well, whatever, But you don't fire one of the top pillars of your band. That's just a really stupid idea. People like Lindsey, they love his playing and his voice and his lyric writing. Why are we getting rid of this guy? But the band still's out there, and I think Stevie Nicks is going to be doing a solo tour soon. So, and she has some good material all on her own as well. Christy McVie has some solo material as well, so you might want to listen to that as well. So, we finished the album Rumors, and looking at it as a work of art, a painting like what's behind me here. By the way, this painting was painted by my wife, and so if you ever want a print of it, we can try to find a way to get a print of it, maybe get it to you. But this is a painting painted by my wife for my son and me, and so here you go. Anyway, it's a painting. But look at this album as a painting, okay? And it's got all the different emotions and feelings in it, and colors, and you got a separate drum and a bass drum and a cymbal. You have a background. You have darkness here and light here. That's this album, and that's what a good album does. It gives you a painting of something. And what we see in Rumors is deep emotions and that run deep. They're on the surface. They're deep. Everything was laid bare here, and that's why it was so successful. People don't respond to pretension. This was true, absolute honesty in music, and that is why it's so absolutely good. And as I said, one of the top, I believe, 5 albums of the 1970s, and that's why I picked it. It's hard to do better than this. So that was the album Rumors. From front to back, the record has been played. Put it back in the sleeve. Put it back in the shelf with all the rest of the records. We're gonna do another one next. Not sure which one. I'm kind of tossed between 2 at this point. We'll see which one. It will either be the debut album of Boston, which is more of a rock and roll sound, or the album Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, which is the number 1 best-selling album, I think, of all time. Definitely the number 1 best-selling album of the 1970s. So not sure how which one I'm gonna do, but I'm leaning to those two, one of those two as my next one. So we'll see. But I thank you for joining me on this exploration of the album Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. Came out in 1977. I think one of the best albums of all time. Certainly one of the best albums of the decade. Thank you for joining me on Rock My Bean for a review of the albums by musician. And I hope this has been enjoyable. I hope you like what you've heard and seen. I hope you enjoy my take on this. And if you do, would you please be so kind as to subscribe? Would you please like and hit that the notification bell so that you know when I'm doing more videos. I'm trying to do one a week. And please leave a comment behind and share with others because the algorithm loves sharing. It really does help the channel, and I really need to help this channel out because we're just getting started. We need to get some traction. It seems like we're doing it, but the more subscribers we have, the more sharing, the more likes, it just will help us take off faster. So thank you. Anyway, thank you for being and taking your time to be with us and in this album exploration. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's John from Rock My Bean. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.